What's going on, guys, and thanks again for being here. For the new viewers, welcome to my channel. So today I'm reviewing the SD series from GVM. This is the RGB, the SD150R, the SD200D, and also the SD300D. I'm going to be actually showing you guys everything here. This, by the way, is not just a review. It's actually a workshop from A to Z, absolutely everything they want to know about the slides. And also, this is actually a kit that comes included with the stand and the softbox. I'm also going to be doing a tutorial of everything here, especially how to use the softbox, how to actually set up the softbox, and a bunch of other things here. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And a quick disclaimer, GVM sent me today these two lights here, and all my opinions are my own. I don't get paid to say anything here, and this video is not sponsored by GVM. I have all these lights here, but today's video, the focus is going to be primarily focused on the SD300, the bicolor light. And I'm also going to be showing you guys here using the app, Master Slave, with all these lights and showing what you can do, what you can't do. So I'm going to do a bunch of things here. So I'm going to start the video here straight to the point with the primary thing that you guys want to know, which is fan noise. Right now it's a little noisy here because I have all three lights on very close to me. This is a condenser microphone, super sensitive, and it's only 11 inches from my mouth, and also pointing directly at these lights here. So it gets a little quieter now, right? This is the actual fan noise that you hear with this microphone pointing at me and pointing at the lights right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds of silence, and this room here you can hear absolutely everything. So this is actually the fan noise that you hear at this distance, again pointing straight at a microphone. Now I'm going to be pointing the microphone in that direction right there, and this is what you hear right now. The same exact thing applies to all SD series lights. They all behave the same way, the fan here. 1% to 100%, the fan spins the same exact way. Another great light here, for example, the Aperture Amaranth 200X. You know, my friends have these lights. They love the light, but also they fall on the loud side on the fan noise there. But it is what it is with some lights. So just like you guys, I also don't like fan noise, and I don't appreciate fan noise in my audio. But with software such as Isotope RX8, you can actually easily filter that out. But even then, when it comes to audio, I don't like to fix anything in post-production because somehow, even with $1,000 software, you degrade the audio slightly. Now, to keep the video going, if you guys want to know all the geeky stuff with the specifications and all, so you're welcome to pause the video and look through everything that you want to see there. And here's the actual case. Comes with a very nice fabric here. I actually thought it was gonna come in a case like this big here, but as you can see, it's rather compact, which is nice, and fits everything here. So open the case. Inside is a little velvet kind of material as usual, and here's the actual manual. It comes with a little something here to protect the light even more, and come with this shipping here. Here's the light itself. The SD series, it seems like they come now fully made of plastic, except the yoke, which is made of aluminum, and also the light stand mount here, which is also made of aluminum. And here's the actual reflector on the outside, and the inside. It's actually heavy, which is nice. I mean, it's not that heavy, but you know, substantial compared to other reflectors here. It's very similar to what Godox makes, the new reflectors they make actually. And here's the power cord. Make sure you actually wrap this up in the same diameter here so you can actually easily fit it back here, because you're gonna have to put the reflector back here. Another option is to actually put the actual cable here, then you put the light back, and the case also closes very nicely. And also come with this little cap here, which they call in the manual as the diffuser. I'm not sure if I'm going to be comfortable to put something this close to the COB chip with a 300 watt output here. And on the SD series, now they're starting to include this power supply little holder for the light stand, and the power supply is right here. I'm also going to be showing you guys exactly how to mount this on the stand here, because it is not as easy as it seems, so don't worry about it. I'm going to be covering this later as well. And to put everything back here, even though it seems like a no-brainer, but you never know. Just make sure everything is loose here. Completely loose. Put the light back here for now, and then you can actually choose to put the power cord here back. Make sure the actual ends here, they're facing outwards so you don't scratch the light. Then you put it here, or you can actually put it here as it came originally with the package when I opened from the sealed box. Put the reflector back here, as you can see. This little diffuser right here, or cap or whatever. Put a little extra cover right here on top. Power supply goes this way here. Just get this out of the way for a second. Put this in here, and then do it this way here. Close the bag, everything fits very nicely. The zipper slides very well, there's no resistance here of any kind. As you guys notice, I just killed one of the few lights right here because I want to show you guys something. So I have two lights here from different manufacturers. This is a Genere light, this other one is a Godox light. And the same thing with the SD200 here. When I reviewed, I think a month or two ago, the 5600 degrees Kelvin is like, you know, almost pretty much on par with this lights as well. But the interesting thing that I found out on the newest releases here from GVM, the SD150R and the SD300, if you look at the light here, it's 5600 degrees Kelvin right now. So I'm going to show you guys something here. This light is set to 5600 degrees Kelvin, and as you can see, is way too warm for 5600 degrees Kelvin setting, right? So I'm actually going to be going up on the Kelvin here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should be at 6600 degrees Kelvin, and it looks this way here. Still a little bit too warm. It's actually at 7500 degrees Kelvin, so I have to go back 3 here. This should look almost closed. So all these lights here, for being the SD series, when you actually shine each one of these lights on a white wall, for example, or somebody's face, you're gonna see they all range a little bit on the magenta side and on the green side. So don't think that you can actually use the different models here to actually match the color temperature, because that's not gonna happen. Now, usually when you work with a light, whether you're doing the main key light and a fill or hair light, usually the best thing to do is to keep the same light of brand and model. And if you try to mix and match all these lights together here for doing the same thing as a key light and a little fill here and a hair light, as you can see, it's not going to be possible because they have different colors here, and also they vary slightly on the magenta and green cast as well. This light here, for being an RGB light, unfortunately does not feature a green magenta correction. It should. Maybe they can actually come up with this particular feature on the application at a later software, but right now there's no offering towards the green magenta shift correction. I have GVM lights as old as 3 years old, and one thing that they definitely improve here is the ability to actually improve the actual teeth here, because before they put a little rubber there or something, so every time you put a large modifier, the thing starts to droop or to go down like this. This particular hardware on this light here is gonna hold your biggest and heaviest modifier. By the way, I actually have a Godox P120, which is 120 centimeters. This thing is a monster. It will definitely hold here without drooping or sagging or dropping at all. So right now I have set up here the Godox P120. This is actually 120 centimeters parabolic softbox, which is very heavy, and as you can see, it doesn't droop. And just to give you an idea about the scale here in size, my head is right here. This thing is actually over a foot taller than my head height right here. It doesn't even fit in the frame here. And it's below my waist over here. So this thing is humongous. I'm almost like opening my arms all the way out here. And this light here will hold a softbox this big without a problem. So whatever position you set this thing, it's gonna stay here. This is absolutely fantastic, and this is one of the biggest features that I found with this light here, is the ability to hold modifiers this big, and this is actually a very good, useful thing to me here. So before you change the position up and down or whatever, make sure you don't have the teeth touching each other. Make sure it is separated enough, and then you actually do your tightening, and there's no requirements to over tighten anything. You will feel when it's tight enough, and then you stop, and the softbox is not going anywhere. This light doesn't feature any battery capability or any V-mount battery capability, but if you want to power this light in the field like any other light that I have here, even the Godox SL60W, which is also designed to be a studio-only light, all you have to do is search for a power generator on Amazon, as long as it is a pure sine wave, and then go ahead and buy it. So the wattage that I recommend, it doesn't matter what brand it is, this is what you have to look for, a 300 watt, and make sure the seller confirms or it is listed there as a pure sine wave power generator, because if it is a square modified wave, this is not good for lights like this, for your cell phone, for a Blu-ray player, or anything that has a delicate circuit board inside. The modified sine wave is for vacuum cleaners and such things that don't need any special care. But this thing is here will always require a pure sine wave, which is the same exact way your home outlet is a pure sine wave, 3% THD or total harmonic distortion. A clean circuit on your electric panel with nothing plugged in on the circuit is going to be as clean as 3% THD, and that's the same quality those pure sine wave generators offer. And here's the light, which is pretty simplistic. This is the actual DC plug here, which is a lockable unit. Everything is also made of plastic, there's no metal here. And just in case this little green ring is lost in a box here, just make sure you actually insert this one here first. It should look this way here, and then you can actually plug it in here. And to power the light is a very simple power switch right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind, as you can see, I have different SD lights here. This is an RGB light, and these are only by color. What happens is if you try to use the app controlling these lights together at the same time, The RGB will not be compatible with those lights over there. However, if you want to control the lights separately on the app, one by one, you can actually control this one, that one, and that one. If you have two or more of the RGB here, you can actually control them all together or separate. And the same exact thing here, if you only have the bicolor series here, you can actually control them all together or the app simultaneously or separate. One thing that I like about this light here is the actual bonus mount release knob, which is very sturdy. So when you actually insert a reflector here or a modifier, reflectors are typically more prominent to actually cause some rattling here, but the rattling is very minimal, as you can see. So here's the back of the light, power it on. Right now I'm at 1% at 2700 degrees Kelvin. The light ranges from 0% to 1% increments very quickly all the way to 100%. And you can also do it slowly or as fast as you like. Quickly press the tab button, then you'll be able to access the color temperature, which ranges from 2700 degrees Kelvin in 100 Kelvin increments all the way and very quickly to 7500 degrees Kelvin. And again, one thing to let you know, at 5600 degrees Kelvin is rather too warm to be daylight, so you probably will have to be around here on the 7000s to actually make it look like 5600 degrees Kelvin. So this particular light is actually way off the color temperature scale on the actual software here. And over here you have your mode, which is master, app, rotate, and slave. To change the channel, it can only be on slave. As you can see, you can change from channel 1 to channel 12. And over here, you cannot do anything with the channels here. So again, to change the channel is only possible while you are at the app mode or on the slave mode. Now I'm going to be connecting the GVM SD300D as the app light, and this one here is set to slave. And notice that this is a 200 watt light and this one is a 300, therefore this is going to be a lot brighter than this one here. But I just want to show you how this works together. So hit connect, and there you go. Now you can change the brightness here and all. Let me do a proper exposure in the background there. So you can also turn it off. Turn it back on. Now here's the interesting thing, the 200D and the 300D, so this light here reaches about 5600 degrees Kelvin maximum, and this one here reaches about 7500 degrees Kelvin. So since this light here is the one that's actually controlling everything, you cannot go all the way to 7500 degrees Kelvin. So you're going to be limited to 5600 degrees Kelvin only. Unless you grab another SD300D here, and then they both will be able to run from 2700 degrees Kelvin all the way to 7500 degrees Kelvin. Now one interesting thing here, for example, if you switch the light to channel 2, which is the light running the app here, and then you can only operate that light. As you can see, the other light is not doing anything. So if you want both lights to operate on channel 2, you gotta physically go there and change the channel over there. And like I said, while on the app mode, you simply rotate the dial, and then they're both gonna be on channel 2, and again, you can control them together again. Switch the other one to channel 1, the same story here. You can only control that light. Now I got all three lights right here, and like I said before, the RGB is not compatible if you want to run all these lights together. However, on the app here, you can actually control them separate by going to the MAC address. The only difference right now is because before I had one light set as the app light and the other one as slave. Right now I have all three set to app, and app. So when you open the app, now you're gonna see three connects here, which are three MAC addresses. So I actually have memorized that the DD here, the DD in the middle here, is actually that light right there. So I'm gonna connect that light first. And then, so I know the MAC address ending in DD is that one right there. So I would highly recommend that you actually put a piece of tape on that light. So just put a DD or a particular part of the MAC address here, whatever is easy for you to actually identify the light. I know the DD is that one, for example, right? So every time I connect here, because the problem with this particular app, the way the software is running right now, I don't understand why the MAC addresses, they switch orders randomly here. This shouldn't move. Since they are moving, next time you hit a connect here, even if you hit only the first connect, you're gonna be actually changing it changes the actual position here, so which is kind of crazy and super annoying. So this is why also you have to know which light is what, so you don't have this little nightmare here. I still recommend you actually put a piece of tape here if you have more than two lights, so you know which MAC address it is regardless, even if they fix this little issue here. Alright, so I have memorized already. The one that has a DD in the middle here is that one there. The one that has a CA is that one. And the one that has 1C is the actual RGB one. So I'm going to connect to the 1C. I'm going to turn it off completely, which is the RGB off. And then I'm going to connect to the DD, which is that one. And then I'm also going to be shutting off. There you go. Then I'm going to connect to the CA. And I'm going to shut that off as well. So all lights are off. Now I'm going to control the RGB only, which is the 1C. I'm going to hit connect. I know it's the RGB light already by the MAC address. And then as you can see, I can control this light separate here. I can do everything that I want. Go to the CCT and all, right? And then let's say that I want to leave this light at this particular color and setting of brightness right here. Now switch device. Now I'm going to control the DD. Click connect, and then it's gonna be that light right there. I'm gonna switch to a warmer color temperature. There you go, beautiful. And finally, I'm gonna connect to the CA, and then I'm gonna turn it on. Look at that, how cool is that? To 5600 degrees Kelvin. So as you can see, you can easily control each light individually. But again, the only thing that I have to fix here is to avoid this MAC addresses from shifting around. This should not move. And again, the same thing, if you have RGB, just make sure they're all RGB. That's if you want to control them all together. But you control them separately, as you can see, as I demonstrated here, there's no problem whatsoever. Alright, right now we're going to be doing a power test here. This is a kilowatt device which measures everything from amperage to wattage and hertz and everything else. Right now everything is off, so it's reading 0 watts here. So you power the light on. Right now is at 0 brightness, and the fan running consumes about 1.2 watts. Then over here at 2700 degrees Kelvin at 1%, this light is going to consume about 4 to 6 watts. Then on the meter here, it's consuming about this much, about 10 watts. And all the way up to 7500 Kelvin is consuming about 6 watts or so. So at 7500 degrees Kelvin is consuming about 137 watts. Let's change the color temperature here all the way down to 2700 degrees Kelvin. And it's consuming about 136 watts. And this is actually a 300 watt light. The only way to consume the highest power will be at the 51 Kelvin settings here, which is 277 watts of electricity here. And the amperage is currently at 2.36 amps. Now let's check the quality of light that comes out of the softbox. This is a 60 centimeter softbox, which is ideal for small rooms or small interviews. I'm going to actually be replacing my key light with the actual GVM SD300D. I'm going to move everything up front here with the softbox. Okay, right now what you're looking at, I have the GVM SD300D as a key light with the actual included 60 centimeter softbox that I just showed you here. Everything seems okay, except the fact that I'm actually 7000 degrees Kelvin and the camera is set to 5600 degrees Kelvin. And as you can see, is way off the scale. So let me go back to 5600 degrees Kelvin. And this is what you're actually getting here, which has nothing to do with daylight. This is actually completely off the scale. So to look as close as possible to the actual daylight, you're looking at here 7000 Kelvin. At 7200, you can still be okay with it, but 75 is a little bit too cold. So even 7200 degrees Kelvin or 7000, somewhere in that neighborhood there. And one more thing to keep in mind, when you're actually in the middle here, on the CCT around 5000, 5100 degrees Kelvin, most GVM lights, they don't compensate. So even though both LEDs are on, some other lights that I have here, they actually compensate, they actually dim automatically, so the exposure doesn't change. So when you are here all the way back to 2700 degrees Kelvin, and then again in the middle, you actually have twice as much exposure, and then back to the same thing here. So this way, gets too bright, and then so you have to adjust the exposure here accordingly when you are in the middle, just something like this. And right now what I have in front of me here is the actual GVM SD300D set to 5600 degrees Kelvin. Look at the difference. This is actually very satisfactory right there. You can set your intensity and all. You can go to your 3200 Kelvin here. But when you are at 5600 degrees Kelvin, it looks about right. Look at that. And even if I turn on the kicker light over here, it looks pretty decent as well. Colors and all, the magenta or green levels or whatever, it looks pretty close. So with the SD300D and the SD150R, I don't know exactly what the deal is that the 5600 degrees Kelvin is almost like, 1500, 2000 degrees Kelvin is off, so I don't know. But the GVM SD200D, as you can see, is pretty good at 5600 degrees Kelvin. Now usually when you work with a light, whether you're doing the main key light and a fill or hair light, usually the best thing to do is to keep the same light of brand and model. And if you try to mix and match all these lights together here for doing the same thing as a key light and a little fill here and a hair light, as you can see, it's not going to be possible because they have different colors here, and also they vary slightly on the magenta and green cast as well. Now I'm going to be showing you guys here how to use this harness to put the power supply there. To some of you it must be a piece of cake, some other people might not be so. So the first thing you want to do is to open this middle Velcro here out of the way, like so. And on the back here, make sure you open this as well. So it should look like this on the back, and it should look like this on the front. So here's the nylon part here. So now facing the core side of the Velcro towards the camera, you're going to be actually looping this here. This way, tighten as much as you can. And then you secure this way here. Same exact thing with the bottom. And then you have this thing left over here. And here's the actual power supply here. And you probably would think that the best place to actually secure this thing here is over here, near these three little joints right here. Wrong, because the Velcro is not going to do anything here. So you want to do this side right here. So you're going to actually mount the power supply right here where there's a big empty space, so all you see is this and that, right? So if this is in the way, simply rotate this out of the way here. So right now I'm going to be mounting the power supply right here, and as you can see, the Velcro meets exactly where it should. So with the index finger here and also pressing against the stand with the power supply, you want to do a very tight fit here. This is very important when the two meet right here. The tighter, the better. And then there you go. And then you finish looping here, as you can see, but unfortunately the Velcro doesn't have any other Velcro on the side here, so it's not going to do anything. So what you want to do is to finish putting the thing right here, and that should do. And here's the actual stand as part of this kit. They actually made this as compact as possible, so it's some sort of a reverse design here. To open this up, you simply loosen this bottom knob here, right? And then here's the three legs. All you have to do, if you're standing up, just hold between your knees here. Look how easy that is. And to collapse, do the same thing, the thing is out. Or you can actually do the same thing on the floor here. So put one of the legs touching the carpet or rug, whatever, and the same exact way. And to put it away, let one leg touch the rug or carpet, and then you just do this. Effortlessly, is back to the previous shape here. And they also changed the painting on this thing here, so when you actually touch, you feel a little bit of a texture here. So instead of that usual glossy finish, it's more like a matte finish, which actually feels great in the hand, and it's actually a better finish, it's a prettier look here. Now before you use this stand, I want you to pay close attention here to use this as safe as possible, because the one thing that I love about the stand, because when you actually open the stand, look how wide the legs are, so you can actually put other lights here. So what happens is, this is actually going to be very difficult to tilt, but what I see too many people doing is this type of scenario here. They put the tripod legs very skinny this way here, so the slightest bump, it will cause the light to fall. If somebody trips on the stand, your light is going to be on the ground. So here's a little tip. When you see the GVM logo, make sure the stand is at least below the logo, in case you need to actually use the stand on a place that's not, a lot of space. You need to kind of make a little, cramped in there. I understand that. So with the stand this way, as you can see, there's plenty of support here. Just under any circumstances, attempt to mount your light with the stand this way here, because this is not a good thing to do. And then of course, don't forget to actually tighten your knobs. No need to over tighten, because you're dealing with metal and plastic here. So these stands, they are not the greatest stands. It's just a little something for you to actually hold your light in case you don't have any stands whatsoever. And here's the actual height of the stand here. I'm about 5'7", and it goes about a foot above my head. And another important thing, and this actually applies to every single stand, especially little skinny little stands like this here. So when you actually raise this all the way up, if you tighten here, there's not really nothing inside the other pipe here, so it's always going to be kind of wobbly like this. So what you do is to raise this and then retract a whole inch down. Now you have a little bit more of the pipe here, which makes this a lot stronger now. The same exact thing with the other sashes here. So you want to raise this and retract about an inch or so. It makes the pipe a lot stronger instead of having this here this way. So when you do this, look at the difference. And here's the actual Softbox. It comes with this little bag here. You're gonna find the actual speed ring. So here's the actual grid, and it's very nice to fold it back in, because this thing comes like pre-molded here. Look how easy it is. So when you open, it you can easily fold this back here. And just make sure that you put this back on the plastic just to protect it from dust or whatever. And for a 60 centimeter softbox, I was actually surprised they actually include both diffusers here, the inner diffuser and the outer diffuser for a softbox this small. And here's the softbox, how it looks inside. It comes with the silver reflective material, and I'm going to actually include an entire tutorial how to set this up properly because I am a pro at this stuff here. I've been doing this since 1991. I've seen a lot of people doing this wrong every single time, and I'm going to show you here how to set this up and collapse in a matter of seconds as well. Now the only thing that's going to take longer here, and this requires only once to set this up like this. Once you have everything set up, you're going to be able to collapse and set up the softbox in a matter of seconds if you follow my techniques here. One thing that actually makes me cringe is the fact that people start mounting this using the rods in the speed ring first, and then they actually try to fight and bend the rods here with the softbox. This is absolutely completely wrong. And let's not forget the rods, which there are 8. And the speed ring comes with a locking knob here, which is okay. You still kind of rotate here somehow, even if you tighten, so it's still gonna rotate. And also, in my opinion, this thing should be actually facing the back here, as I've seen with other designs or the lights. So this should be here, because when you actually mount a softbox, the thing is not facing inside. You can easily come here and actually tighten the knob. But as you can see, when you tighten this knob here, it still wants to turn a little bit. Now here's one very important thing here regarding the rods, for example, because I've been doing this for a long time. And this is what you have to do before you actually attempt to mount this on the actual softbox, because these rods here, they will easily slide the moment that you actually try to collapse or assemble the softbox with the speed ring. You gotta go to Lowe's and buy this particular carpet tape here, and the brand is called Sure Tape. It costs only like $5, $4 or whatever. It's a carpet tape, double-sided. All you have to do is to simply cut one piece here that measures about this diameter here. So you cut the piece of this material here, and then you cut it in half. Put one aside. All you have to do is to simply slide this in here, and then you simply peel this off to expose the double-sided adhesive here. And you want to do the same exact thing for the other remaining rods. So the first thing that you're going to do, forget about the speed ring, don't even touch that thing yet. All these little pockets here, they have an opening here, which are tight, and they're supposed to be tight. So here's the actual part that you actually install the adhesive tape. So you want to use the other one, which goes to the speed ring. And as you notice, one is bigger than the other. So the smaller one goes on a pocket here, and the bigger one goes to the speed ring. So here's the softbox, and here's our first little pocket here. So with this side that goes into the speed ring, temporarily using this side here, just insert here on an angle like this here. And then once you get this inside here, kind of open it up a little bit, and then put the side that you actually install the adhesive tape in an angle as well. Don't force it, because if you're forcing, you're doing it wrong. Go back, open it more here, and then you insert it right here, and then this is not going anywhere. See that? And don't turn it, so just leave it the way it is. And repeat the same exact procedure here to the other remaining 7 pockets here. So after you install everything correctly, it should look like this here. So flip this over, try to organize the little rods here. It should look like this. Now let's start with the fun part here, which is actually inserting the speed ring here. If you don't follow my tutorial, I can guarantee you're gonna be fighting with this thing for at least 3 days. And this takes a matter of seconds to actually put everything together, because I've been doing this for a long time. As you can see here, some areas on the speed ring here, they have 3 holes, so you're going to be ignoring the center hole. This is designed for the skinny strip softbox, and this is the octagon softbox. This is why you have to ignore this hole here. So you want to count here, here, there, there, there. Ignore this one here. So I would actually recommend that you start with these 3 holes here first, so you don't confuse yourself. So again, ignore this hole here. And also a very important thing, make sure this is fully inserted here, because a lot of pressure is going to be building up in this ring here. So never attempt to actually set up the softbox with this thing actually halfway out here, because you will break this ring. Make sure it is fully inserted. Okay, first one, there's no pressure, super easy. Make sure the next rod that you're actually picking it up is the very next one, which happens to be this guy here. It's also a good idea to grab a little bit of the fabric here, as you can see. Hold it with your hands here, and then put it inside here. Same thing, grab the fabric and the actual rod. Hold it here. Find the next one. And then you want to start to bend this a little bit this way here. See that? Now you're going to stop. When you are halfway here, stop. Now to continue setting up the softbox here, what you want to do is to actually bend the other rods on the opposite side. So it's very simple. Just let the thing here touch the carpet or floor or whatever. You're simply going to bend it this way, okay? So bend it and also grab it from the fabric, everything with this hand here. So bend it and find the next one. When you bend it, it's super easy to install this. All right, so we only have two remaining here. The same exact thing, you want to bend this here, this way. There you go. And then bend it again. It is super easy. Now let me go back one step here. The same thing to pull this out here, you bend that rod, which reduces the stress here to about 75%. If you don't bend it, you're going to be actually pulling this out here, and not even the Incredible Hulk can actually remove this thing here. All you got to do, make sure that you bend the softbox this way. You're going to lift this up and pull it out at the same time. Make sure you have your thumb here, your whole hand here very firmly on the split ring, okay? So grab here, put your thumb here, as close as possible to the rod. So you're going to bend it. This hand here is going to lift it up and pull it out at the same time. It's very easy, look, lift, pull. So lift, pull, bend, and insert. Lift, pull it out, bend it, and insert. Now with this method here, let's actually collapse this entire thing. I want to show you guys how little it takes. It's a matter of seconds. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.5 seconds that it took me to actually undo this, right? Now again, to mount, ignore this hole here and start from this hole right here. Grab this rod, find the next one here. There you go. Again, ignore this hole here. The next one will be this guy. And again, don't forget to actually grab the fabric as well here with this hand this way here. Like bend it, also bend this way and insert. And again, bend it and insert. I'm going to be showing you guys just one more time without interruption. And it's that simple. Then you want to fold this here, which is a rather tight fit. So make sure you grab this firmly and then fold this over. You can actually come under here and finish this way here. Again, it's a very tight fit. Then this way, there's a lot of force is required here. There you go. And last one. And there you have it. You can actually rotate any direction you want. And here's what it looks inside here without any other accessories being installed. So this is what a successful setup looks like. Now if you want to, before you actually slide the rod into this little pocket here, you can actually slide it inside this elastic here, so the rods, they actually stay as close as possible to the softbox instead of dangling all over the place here, which I did with this one here. Maybe I should have done with the other remaining ones, but I forgot about it. Now to install the inner diffuser, make sure this is actually facing down, as you can see here. But this thing is actually facing down. And then you want to press this here. This is a little bit of a pain, I must advise you. And then with this hand, you just slide your finger in here. Then you press this in and then you simply slide it right there. Repeat the same procedure for the other 7 remaining things here. So here's what everything should look like. And then to install the external diffuser, don't squeeze the softbox, there's no need to do anything. And also to install this perfectly here without looking like this at the end here, it's very important, the actual depth. So you gotta actually leave room for the actual grid to be installed here later. So what you wanna do is to install at this depth right here, as close as possible between the black and the silver finish right here. So find a thing that looks like the same shape of the softbox. Next, what you're going to do is to stretch this very firmly and as close as possible between the silver material and the Velcro thing here. And also very important, make sure you actually wash your hands, because if you do this with dirty hands, you're going to actually destroy this material here by altering the color temperature and make this yellow. It's not going to look good, right? So stretch it over here. Make sure it is as straight as possible. Do this here, slide your thumb right here. And the last one. And as you can see, there's nothing that looks like this here, right? So it's perfect fit. There's no leftover material here, as you can see. Next, you install the grid. Make sure this Velcro here, the core side of the Velcro, is actually facing up. Same exact thing, find the octagon shape right here. And it should look like this. So when you see the white, it means the light is actually coming through. So this is the purpose of a grid, to control the light spill. So every time you see the white, it means the light is actually spilling, right? Now to remove the grid, I cannot stress this enough, never grab from this actual grid material here. Always grab from the very end of it, holding the softbox with this hand and this finger right here. And then you start from the outside here, never from here. Take it easy. You can also use the softbox itself as a nice little surface for you to actually put this away here. And as you can see, it comes pre-folded. It's very easy to put this away. And again, to disassemble this, super easy. There you go. Now to put this whole thing away, you don't have to remove anything at all. Just leave everything except the speed ring here. Leave everything assembled with the rods inside and all. What you want to do is to just fold this here. Make sure you actually have this whole thing stretched out. And then you tuck it in a little bit here, as you can see. And there you go. As you can see, the inner diffuser is not even showing here because you actually tuck it in like this. Then you can even fold it one more time and grab it firmly with the hand here. Don't let it go. And here's the actual bag. Keep holding the softbox. You just slide it in here. Since this is a wide bag, you don't have to hold it. You can actually put the softbox the way it is here. Super easy. Put the grid back here. Now with the softbox fully assembled here, it's going to be a little bit tighter to actually close this bag. So all you have to do is to press this down, slide the softbox in, put the speed ring here, right? There you go. Press it down, and then you're going to close it like this. And as you can see, it does close perfectly. So the next time you open this up, speed ring is right here, grid. The whole thing comes in one piece, and then you start assemble just using the speed ring, and you're out of here in 2 seconds. So right now I have the SD300D at 1% set to 5100 degrees Kelvin, which is the highest output in brightness this light offers. Okay, so right now I'm using this light meter here with ISO 800, 30 frames per second. So right now the light is at 1% at 5100 degrees Kelvin, which is the highest light output this light currently offers. So right now the light is at 1 meter away, and the light meter is going to be right in the center here. So you're looking at F4. Now at 100% at 5100 degrees Kelvin, which is not 5100 degrees Kelvin, by the way, you're looking at 16.5 of f-stop. Same thing, ISO 800 and 30 frames per second. If you actually want to know how this will look like on ISO 400, for example, I'll show you right now. ISO 400 will be this, ISO 200 will be this one here, and ISO 100 you're looking at 5.6.5. I want to put it back to 800, which is the default ISO of my camera. Now at 100% at 2700 degrees Kelvin, what do we get here? It's about F11, ISO 800. 7500 degrees Kelvin, we get F11.5. Now we're going to put the reflector on. That's when things get nasty. So again, at 100%, bare bulb, 5100 degrees Kelvin, you're looking at approximately 16.4. Now with 16.4, I want to make sure that I'm pointing right at that spot right here. So from 16.4, it's going to raise to 45.5. If you don't know how this looks like on ISO 100, it's about F16.5. And here's what the light looks like with this reflector attached. As you can see here, the corners, they look pretty good, I think. It's not like that crazy like rainbow effect or anything like that here. So it's expected to have a hot spot in the center because reflectors do that. But on the corners there, to me, it looks pretty good. I tested some other reflectors before here. There was all kinds of like rainbow stuff going on. But this one here looks pretty clean. And that's the end of my review. I really appreciate you guys being here. By the way, if you are interested in purchasing one of the slides here, I have some affiliated links on the bottom, either from B&H or Amazon. I would really appreciate if you guys could use the links, because I receive a ton of little commission here that helps the channel, you know, making videos like this, because these videos, they are so much work to do. So once again, thank you very much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.